At the beginning of December, we took our first look at the new Funnel 31 Broads design as the builders were preparing to lay up the first production hull. The design itself is modern and smart, with much more internal luxury and comfort than more traditional designs, and the hull is very different. It has a profile which traps the bow wave and reduces the wash effects which can cause bank erosion. When we saw the Mould last, it was beginning its hundreds of hours of sanding and polishing, which would bring it to a mirror-like finish. Once that was complete, the first hull could be begun. The new hull, which is a single glass fibre laminate, is not very rigid, which explains the temporary reinforcing struts across the mould. These keep the hull in approximate shape while it's being lifted and then stored, awaiting the start of fitting out. To make the lift out simple, the builders roll the mould tool outside so they can use the yard boat lift. Then the new hull is connected to the lift and can be lifted, but you'll soon see that it isn't as simple as that. It's at points like this, incidentally, that you see how carefully the work has been planned. There are internal lifting points moulded into the hull in exactly the right spots to make the lift simple. Despite the mould tool being highly polished and waxed, the hull doesn't want to release easily. There's a very tight joint between mould and moulding, so they tend to cling together. Now, there's a sometimes long series of operations to get the two apart. First, they can introduce compressed air into the keel area of the boat. This had some effect, with the hull coming away from areas of the mould, but it was still well stuck. Next, they hammer wedges into the mould and hull joint at the flat lip at the top of the mould to release the sides of the hull. Although this looks like hard treatment, the lip has to be removed anyway before the superstructure is joined up to the hull. Still no joy, so a bit more air is pumped into the keel area, without result. Finally, it's rubber hammer time, and that does the trick. The mould tool drops 2 or 3 inches and the hull is free. For the builders, it's one of those key moments in the creation of a brand new design of boat. The hull is lifted, the mould returned to the workshop for a new layup, and the glass fibre skin of the Funnel 31 can be given a minute inspection. For Waveney River Centre foreman Steve Charlton, it's a real relief to see the hull, and he really is delighted.
That looks good. Yeah, very pleased. Yeah, over the moon with it actually. It looks good. It's come out well. Came out fairly quickly as well in the end. Thought it was going to take a bit longer than that, but it's.
You were starting to sweat about putting some water in there, weren't you?
Yeah, well, if that was the sort of last resort, really, but we managed not to get away with that. So, good.
No.
we've got a mark on the hull here which just indicates where the water line is. What will happen as the boat is driving along is that the bow wave will be created there and up from there, and then it will travel along and be trapped underneath this sponson. So effectively the bow wave will be captured and just sent out of the back of the boat without going against the side of the river. This tape shows the join in the mould. The mould was actually made in two halves which butted together there, and in future when they want to build different lengths of this boat they can actually insert new sections that are this cross section, and they can put those in at more or less any length they want to. I think the intention is to put in an increase of length at some point of around 10 foot, so they end up with a boat just over 40 foot. The mould join has actually left a mark underneath on the hull where this tape is, so in the immediate future what they're going to do is remove the tape, just grind that down so it's nice and smooth, and overcoat it again with gel coat so you won't see where the join is, to quote the Morecambe and Wise phrase. So you'll have a perfectly fair hull. Let's hear Steve's final verdict on this morning's operation.
I was a little bit nervous, but it's just a matter of time before it pops out anyway, so you know, we might have been here all day, but as it happens it was just a couple of hours, so I'm very pleased nothing hung up and it came out really well. We're going to lay up another hull, you know, straight away, yeah, and then again we'll release that one, and that one hopefully will come out the same, if not even easier than what this one has.
And as they remove the cheek pieces that'll give the skeg its efficient underwater shape, we'll let Steve and his team get on with the job. But we'll be back later in the spring to see more of this interesting and innovative design.